Hello student, this is Suman Sharma from SVM Finity and this is the next video for class 9. In this video, we will study the equation of motion by graphical method. Students, we know that when an object moves along a straight line with uniform acceleration, then we have to use the equation of motion. And we also know that how to prove these equation of motion mathematically. Now, in this video, we will prove this equation of motion by graphical method. Here the first equation of motion is that v is equal to u plus at. And this equation of motion is also known as equation for velocity time relation. As you can see in the image that we have a velocity time graph of an object that moves under the uniform acceleration. Now in this graph, we can see that the initial velocity of the object is u at the point A. This is the point A, and at this point the initial velocity of the object is u. And this velocity increases to the point V at the point B. This is the final velocity of the object. Now, the object takes the time interval of t seconds to cover the velocity from initial velocity u to final velocity v. And the velocity changes at a uniform rate. Now, again from this graph, it is clear that time is represented by OC and initial velocity is represented by OA and final velocity is represented by BC. As you can see in the image, all the things are mentioned in the image. Now, in the next slide, here, this is the same graph which we have used in the previous slide. Okay. From this graph, we can write that this final velocity BC is equal to this BD plus DC. So it is written here. BC is equal to BD plus DC. And BD plus OA, because this DC is equal to OA. So it is written here. Now, we know that BC represents the final velocity V. So it is written here, final velocity V is equal to BD plus this OA represents the initial velocity. So it is written here U. Now, using this equation, we will find the expression for BD. So it becomes V minus U is equal to BD. This is equation 1. Now, students, we know that in velocity time graph, if we have to find the acceleration, then we have to find the slope of the graph. And we know the formula for acceleration is equal to change in velocity by time taken. Here, in equation 1, the BD represents the change in velocity, as you can see here. So, in place of change in velocity, we will write BD and time taken is represented by AD. Here the time taken is OC, but this OC is equal to AD. That's why we have written here AD is equal to, now this BD is equal to BD and AD is equal to OC, because OC is the time taken, as you can see in the graph. So, the expression becomes like this. A is equal to BD by time taken. Now, if we multiply this acceleration with time and 1 with BD, then it becomes BD is equal to 80. Now, this is equation number 2. Now, if we use equation 1 and equation 2, then we will get that V minus U is equal to, and at the place of BD, we will put the value of 80. So v minus u is equal to at, and when we will arrange this equation, then we will get v is equal to u plus at. This is the first equation of motion, and this equation of motion can be proved by graphical method like this. Now, in the second slide, next slide, here is the second equation of motion. We know that the second equation of motion is F is equal to ut plus half at squared. Okay, and this equation of motion is known as equation for position time relation. So we will again use the same graph. Here, let us consider that the object has traveled a distance f in time t under the uniform acceleration a. Now we know that when we have to find the distance traveled by the object, then to find the magnitude of the distance, we have to find the area enclosed between the velocity time graph and the time axis. In this graph, we know that the velocity time graph is this, and we have to find the area covered by the object or the distance covered by the object. So to find the distance, we have to calculate the area covered between this velocity time graph and the time axis. So we have to calculate the area of this shaded portion. Okay. Now pay your attention here that the distance traveled by the object is given by the area of O, A, B and C, which is a trapezium. Now, if you pay your attention, then we can see that here OADC is a rectangle, and if we find the area of this rectangle, then the area of this rectangle represents length into breadth. Here this OC represents the length and OA represents the breadth, and this OC is the time and OA represents the initial velocity. That's why it is written here OA into OC, the area of the rectangle. And now the another part is that the area of the triangle. This is a right angle triangle, and we know the area of the right angle triangle is equal to half into base into height. Here the formula, half base is AD and its height is BD. And this AD is just equal to the OC. That's why at place of AD we will put the time, and BD we have just seen in the last video that the expression for BD is equal to 80. So in place of BD we will put the value of 80. So now the equation becomes S is equal to U multiplied with time plus half multiplied with time, and this multiplied with the expression BD, which have the value 80. Now if we will arrange this, then we will get S is equal to UT plus half AT square, which is the required relation between the position time. This is the second equation of motion. Now in the next slide, the third equation of motion. You know that here V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. This is the third equation of motion, and this is known as equation for position velocity relation. So in this equation of motion, we know that the distance traveled f by the body in time t, and the magnitude of the distance is calculated when we find the area between the velocity time graph and the time axis. Again, if you see here that this is the velocity time graph and this is the time axis. And if we find the area of this, which is a trapezium, then OACB is a trapezium. If we find the area of this trapezium, then we will get the magnitude of the distance covered by the object. So, we know the formula for the trapezium is S is equal to sum of parallel sides into height by 2. And if you see in the image that the sum of parallel sides, it means here OA and BC represents the parallel sides. So it is written in place of sum of parallel sides OA plus BC, and height is represented by OC. So it is written here OC and by 2. Now from this equation we have to take it very clearly. This OA is represented by the initial velocity plus CV is represented by the final velocity here. So you can see that OA plus CB is equal to U plus V, and OC is represented by the time. Okay. So in this place, student, we will put that S is equal to U plus V is multiplied with time by 2. Now, from the velocity time relation, that is V is equal to U plus AT, we have to find the expression for time. Then it becomes V minus U is equal to AT. That means V minus U by A is equal to T. So this is the expression for time. Now we have to put this expression for time in this equation. So it becomes S is equal to U plus V multiplied with time by 2 is given. Now this equation becomes like this, is equal to U plus V, and in place of time we will put this, that is V minus U by A, and whole is multiplied with 2. So the expression is S is equal to, if you pay your attention that this is actually the formula of A square minus B square. So we can write it we can write it like this. Here V square minus U square. Why? Because it is V plus U multiplied with V minus U. So A plus B into A minus B. That's why V square minus U square by 2A. Now this 2A is multiplied with the distance. So it becomes 2AS is equal to V square minus U square. Now we will arrange this equation and we will get that V square is equal to, V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. This is the required formula of position velocity relation, and in this way we can prove it graphically. Now in the next slide, the last topic of this chapter, that is uniform circular motion. So we will go step to step to understand this. Here we generally go to the merry-go-round, as you can see here. Here the merry-go-round, we know that it moves in a circular path, and when this moves in a circular path, then it experiences the circular motion. Now, motion in which a body moves along the circumference of the circle is called circular motion. We can also define the circular motion like this. But the circular motion may be uniform or it may not be uniform. It depends. Now, Here, in the next slide, there is example. In merry-go-round, the merry-go-round moves with a varying speed. The speed of the merry-go-round always changes time to time, and the speed keeps on changing. That means its motion is not uniform. But on the other hand, if we take the example of a blade of a fan, and when we fix the regulator moves with the fixed speed, then in this case the fan not only exhibits the circular motion, but its motion is also uniform because it is moving with the constant speed. Now, we know that in circular motion, the object moves along the circumference of the circle. Here there is a circular path, and when the object moves along the circumference of the circle, then we will say that the object moves along the circular motion. Here, in the next slide, the very important point is that now, as the object moves along the circumference of the circle, its direction keeps on changing constantly. As you can see that there is a circle and the object moves in this way, like this. The object moves in this way. But at each and every point, the direction keeps on changing. Means at this point, the direction is in this direction. At this point, its direction is this. At this point, its direction is this. At this point, its direction is this. So direction keeps on changing. If we consider this point, then at this point the direction is this. At this point the direction is this. At this point the direction is this. And at this point the direction is this. So we can say that when an object moves along the circumference of the circle or in a circular motion, then the direction of the object continuously changes. And we know that the constantly changing the direction attribute to the change in the overall velocity of the object. We know that the velocity of the object can be changed by the three factors. First is the speed, second is the direction, and third is both. And when we fix the speed and the direction is constantly changing, then we can say that the velocity of the object is changing, because velocity is always associated with the word direction. Now, there might be a case when the speed of the body stays uniform irrespective of the change in the direction or velocity as a whole. So, we have to pay our attention that irrespective of the change in the direction. Uniform circular motion is the combination of uniform speed with circular motion. When the object moves along the circumference of the circle with uniform speed, then we will say that uniform circular motion. In uniform circular motion, the speed remains constant at each and every point. As you can see in the image, if we consider this point, then at this point the speed is constant. Again at this point the speed is also constant. Again at this point the speed is again constant. At this point the speed is again constant. So if the object moves in a circular path, then for uniform circular motion, the speed of the object at each and every point must be constant. Here, in the next slide, the speed is constant, but the velocity keeps on changing. Why? Because at each and every point, the speed is constant, but the direction of the object keeps on changing. And as the direction changes, then its velocity also changes. So as you can see in the image that at each and every point, here the speed is denoted by the letter V, as you can see, but at each and every point its direction is changes. At this point direction this, at this point the direction this, at this point direction this, at this point direction this. So the speed is constant, but the direction keeps on changing. Now, the another example is that let us consider a stone tied to a rope which is being rotated in a circular motion with the constant speed, and you all are very familiar to this experiment. Now, the direction of the speed is not same at any 2 points, hence its velocity is not constant, and you will see that at any point the direction of the object is not same, and if the direction is not same, that means we can see that its velocity is not a constant velocity. However, the speed or the magnitude of the velocity remains constant at each and every point. It is already explained that the speed may be constant, but as the direction keeps on changes, then the velocity cannot be constant. Now, one of the important point is that if we release the stone from point A, here is the point A, and it will fly off in a straight direction. If we release the stone from point A, then it will fly off in this direction. If we release the stone at this point, then it will fly off in this direction. If we release the stone at this point, then it will fly off in this direction. So, the object is associated with the direction. That's why in a circular motion, the direction is included, and in a uniform circular motion, the speed may be constant, but its direction keeps on changing. Now, here, the direction of the speed always acts in a tangential direction, that is always perpendicular to the length of the thread. Here, you know that the direction of the speed is this for this particular point, and this direction is always perpendicular to the length of the thread. This is the thread, as you can see in the previous slide, that when we tie a stone with a thread and rotate it in a circular path, then this represents the thread. So the direction of the speed always perpendicular to this thread. If we consider this point, then at this point the direction of the speed is this, and this is again perpendicular with this thread. So you have to remember this, that the direction of the speed always acts in a tangential direction, and that is always perpendicular to the length of the thread. Now, we will find how to find the speed when the object moves in a circular path. So, we know the formula to calculate speed is equal to distance by time. And when the object moves in a circular path or circular motion and completing one revolution, then it means that the object travel along the circumference of the circle. So in this case, the distance covered by the object or the distance covered by the person to complete one revolution is equal to the circumference of the circle. That's why it is written here speed is equal to distance by time, and at place of distance it is written 2 pi r, because we know that the circumference of the circle is 2 pi r and the time is whatever the time taken. We know that. Okay, so this is the formula by which we can calculate the speed of an object when an object travels or moves along a circular path. These two points are used to find the circumference of the circle, which you already know that it is equal to 2 pi r. Now, some more important points about the uniform circular motion. Here, one thing we must keep in mind that uniform linear motion is not accelerated motion. Uniform linear motion means when an object moves along a straight line with uniform speed, that is uniform linear motion, but that motion is not accelerated motion. But when the object moves along the circumference of the circle, or we can say that when the object moves in a circular motion, then the circular motion is accelerated motion, because in circular motion the velocity keeps on changes, and when the velocity changes, that results the acceleration. That's why in uniform circular motion velocity is changes, so uniform circular motion is also known as accelerated motion. Now some examples of uniform circular motions are: first, the motion of artificial satellite around the earth. Second, moon. We know that moon is the natural satellite of the earth that moves in a uniform circular motion around the earth. Cyclists move on a circular track with a constant speed, exhibit uniform circular motion. You know that for defining uniform circular motion, we have to mention the two terms, that is, first is the constant speed and second is the circular path. So when a cyclist moving on a circular track with a constant speed, then it exhibits the uniform circular motion. But this uniform circular motion is actually accelerated motion. So students, this is the last topic of your chapter motion. Your first chapter in physics is just completed. So this is enough for today. Thank you so much.